Well, with me right now from United, we have Maggie Blackwell, who is the board secretary, and we have Juanita Skillman, who is the board president. Nice to see you both.
Good to see you.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Way over there to you. Well, we're going to start with Maggie today, and you're going to talk about some resolutions. Of course, United had their meeting on a busy week.
Right.
Two meetings.
And she's going to handle that. I'm going to do the landscape.
Okay, you're going to do the landscape.
We changed our lineup here.
Oh, you did change the lineup. Okay, so I will move down to Juanita then, or would you like to go
Maggie's
first?
going to start.
Maggie's going to go first. Okay, you're going to talk about landscape.
Okay, there was a letter in the Globe yesterday about rose bushes that were out of control and weeds growing around the building and so on. And that is exactly what the Yellow Stake program is about. Rose bushes are a non-standard planting. They are always non-standard. We do not plant the rose bushes. And somebody has agreed to take care of those rose bushes and to take care of that whole plot right next to their building. And so we keep our hands off. It is in their escrow paperwork that they will be responsible for these rose bushes. So we keep our hands off and we don't touch the area. And the member owner is responsible for the care of those rose bushes and for the total care of that plot. And if they don't, then we'll have to now find out, I can't find out, but we'll have service find out who is responsible for this. We'll have to send them to compliance and we'll have to take the plot away from them. We do away with all the rose bushes and the weeds and everything, and then we send them a bill for that, and it becomes the mutual care again.
Okay.
So that has nothing to do with the landscape department. It isn't that we aren't paying attention, it's that we're not supposed to pay attention. In addition to our Yellow Stake program, we're going to start up a Red Stake program, which is for people who are sensitive to Roundup and other chemicals. They don't want them near the buildings and near their sites. So in the areas around their buildings, they talk to the landscape manager, they get red stakes from them, and then they place those stakes, and the herbicide sprayers will not spray those areas.
Okay.
But then the person who has ordered the red stakes is responsible for the weeding of that area. If they don't keep up the weeding, then we'll have to talk to them and maybe reclaim the property and do the spraying. Because the weeding for our crews is very expensive if we have all the weeding. But if you want a red stake and you like your property without herbicides, then you talk to the landscape manager, but you have to keep it weeded in the meantime or you lose your right to that.
Okay, that makes sense, but as we know, there are some people who can be sensitive to that, and it's a great program that you're starting because I think obviously it makes them a lot more comfortable.
Right, particularly with the bad publicity on herbicides.
Right.
Yeah. And the newest thing is our supervisors and people working in the field now have tablets, so they can make up tickets immediately for service, and they can check schedules right in the field. So if you see someone and you need something, you can contact them right away. And
that is going to be
very
really
effective.
nice.
Yeah.
Now, furniture and furnishings left by the trash bins.
Oh, this is Juanita.
All right.
We want a trash talk.
All right, let's do that.
We have all of a sudden a worse problem. There's always been a bit of a problem, and we don't know whether it's people moving out, perhaps heirs cleaning out units for parents that have either passed away or moved to assisted living or something. But people seem to think if they just put it by the big trash bins that it's going to be picked up. We are not Salvation Army. We are not Goodwill. And just cleaning your stuff out and putting it in the space by the bins, it's not going to get picked up.
Right.
And it just makes a mess for the rest of the neighborhood. The bins are marked as to the types of things that they will take, and anything else you need to call. Now, the city has a deal with Waste Management that you can call twice a year and get them to come pick it up in your home, Or the third Saturday of every month, you have pickup where you can take it out either to your curbside or to the there, but just that one day. So we're just really pleading with people, don't think that you can just put anything out there and it's going to be picked up. We've got mattresses, we've got furniture, we've got boxes of clothes, things like that that they don't know what to do with, so they just stick it out there and think we're going to pick it up.
And there is a solution.
There is a
as
solution.
you just said, and it doesn't cost them anything.
No,
they just
it
have to be
doesn't.
aware
They just need to be
that.
aware and do it. And of course, we know that a lot of the problem is this is being done by people who do not know our rules. And they think, oh, there's a trash container over there, I'll just stuff there.
Right.
Just put my stuff there. And so we're asking people, please follow the rules, know what they are, and if you've got people coming in to help you with the cleanup, let them know that they can't do that.
All right, very good. Now, let's move on. That I know this has been talked about for years, alterations and standard manner alterations conditions.
Okay. That's coming up next month at our September meeting. We have a
Right.
number of things. Matter of fact, 8 different resolutions that have had their first reading.
Yeah.
And so people who are interested in this, we've had a booklet on alterations, but it's like 15 years old. And so the Alterations Committee has updated that with what you need to do if you want to have an alteration. What are the rules? What are the rules for your contractor? What are the things you need to do to get permits? What are the
Right.
things, all those kinds of things. So that's going to be available where we will approve it, hopefully, at our September meeting. And then we also have a resolution regarding common area improvements. As you know, we spent a long time
Right.
doing common area.
Yes, we did.
But what we didn't take into account and specify, which we are now doing, is there are certain things that you can put outside in the common area, like air conditioner compressors and water heaters and those kinds of things within 3 feet of the
Okay.
building. So we're just kind of catching up on that and making sure that the absolute you can't use the common area doesn't do for utilities. The standard specifications for atrium enclosures, this has been a problem where we have atriums that have a common wall between 2 atriums. And one resident on one side decides to enclose their atrium to make that wall higher and maybe a
Yeah.
roof over it. It affects the person on the other side, their airflow, their sunlight, and all of that kind of stuff. So we have a standard that we're going to put. We're not saying it can never be done, but there are certain standards that have to be done, and the person on the other side has to agree. It's not a surprise.
Yeah.
The hot tub policy coming forward from maintenance and construction, we have on our agenda for then. And
Now, with that policy, I know you're going to be discussing that. They can have a hot tub within, like, if they have a patio, but not in an atrium. Am I right?
right,
Okay.
not in the atriums. It has to be out to the outside to a sanitary sewer. It can't
Right.
be the drain that's on the
Okay.
patio or there.
Okay.
And there are just certain specifications on size, and it has to be on a platform.
Are there
and
many hot tubs
all
here
those
that
kinds
people
of
have?
things. They're not a lot, but
Okay.
a couple of the ones that we have been a problem.
Okay.
And so we've seen that we need to have some sort of regulations and rules to
Okay.
do that. We're looking at increasing the late charge. We haven't increased that in many years. It's $20 if you are late with your assessment, and $20 a month, which adds up because people just don't ever do it.
Yeah.
So we're looking at increasing those and hoping that people will then be on time with
Okay.
their assessments. And of course, one of the big things is a fine if you're not there to meet an appointment for maintenance. Because we have people that
Yes.
forget. They make an appointment, they want a plumber to come in, they want an electrician to come in, and they show up and nobody's home. The resident had forgotten about it or something. And so they wait 15 minutes, nobody comes, but it throws their whole schedule off. And it really impacts the other things that they need to do, because there's lots of people that need their help, and if they go and they can't,
Yes.
they're
And I remember at the meeting, someone asked, well, what if there is some
Right.
unforeseen problem?
Right. There's nothing that we do really in in United that cannot be appealed.
Right.
So we do have an appeal
Okay.
process. So if you are given that fine and you think there's a reason why you should not have to pay it, an emergency situation, whatever, you can appeal it.
Okay.
And then we look at that, Sarah.
All right.
Now, one other thing I wanted to mention that I mentioned at our meeting, but I'm not sure everybody watches our meeting, and that is the fact that they are doing a interim census here in the
Yes.
village. And they have been scaring a number of our residents because census takers are part-time. They usually come evenings and weekends because they have full-time jobs. And when they come up at 7 o'clock at night and knock on a resident's door and say, I'm a census taker, can I come in and ask you questions? It can be a little frightening.
Yes, it can.
And so they call security or they lock their doors. So the things they need to know is, yes, it is a bona fide, legitimate thing, but you do not have to answer. It's not mandatory. If you say, I don't want to participate, you don't have to participate. And if you do, that's great, because we need that demographic information.
Right.
That's great information. But the fact that they come on weekends and the fact that they come at night is a little unsettling for many of our residents.
Sure.
So I just wanted to
I
let
can
them
understand
know
that.
it is out there and they might be
I
doing
mean, I
it.
think if someone came to our door and we weren't aware of it, we'd think the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, all
Exactly.
the scammers that are listening to this, please don't pay any attention. Erase your mind.
Yeah.
You don't know a thing about it.
Right.
This is what,
Well, they call to try to get appointments too, and people think it's a scam, and
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
hang
I
up.
I
And
totally get that. I
It's
understand.
it's just a problem right now, and we want people to know that it's happening in the village.
Yeah. So we know that some news for United, Gates 1 to 4, leading in United, they're next up at looking at these the
Well, we need to
automated
pass
gate
the budget
program,
next
and-
month.
Yes, you do.
And GRF needs to pass their budget because they're the ones that do the gates.
Yeah.
And they are going to ask for an early release of money so that we can
Yes,
get
they are.
started
Right.
this year and get the gates up, and 1 through 4 are first on the list. So United is very happy on that to
Yeah,
get those gates up.
they've already proven themselves, and I know that Brad has said he wants to get this going, and both GRF and Brad and the staff has asked for that early release for that purpose. Get these things going, and it's just going to make things far more convenient for the residents here,
And controllable.
particularly getting people in the gates and signing people in and keeping track.
Right,
right.
Yeah.
exactly. We've found with the test case we had in 5 and 6 how beneficial
Yeah.
it is, and the information that we get, et cetera, is just fantastic. So we
and
really.
I think people are beginning to get used to the idea that they slow down at the gates.
Right.
They're no longer trying to press forward on each other. They know they have to wait. So we've got a little better behavior even at the non-gated places, and that will make it easier.
Yes. Now, finally, director elections, they have till what time today?
5 o'clock this
Okay,
afternoon.
so if you're watching us live right now, if you're watching us the replay, which is midday at 12:30, you still got a little time left. However, if you're watching us at 5 o'clock, I'm sorry, your time is up.
Your time is up.
Yeah.
You've had plenty of time to get those in, but we'll know at 5 o'clock today who our candidates are
Right.
going to be.
Yeah.
Okay. And one more thing.
Sure.
We've got the technology town hall, and that's on the 21st?
Yes, it is.
Or is it the 17th?
It's the, no, let me have it here. I think
Okay.
I've got it. I'll get the date out here. I believe I have it. It is going to be,
17th.
yes, on the 17th, and it will be at 4:30 right here in the community center boardroom.
Right. And they'll talk so fast and so great, everyone will love it. And some of us will wonder what's happening, but we're learning more and more and more. These guys are terrific. You'll love the improvements that they're making.
Yes, both Chuck Holland, who is the Director of Information Services, will be there, and Paul Ortiz here at the station manager, he will be there. And it's a good time for to get this presentation, and they're going to talk about whole home DVR, TV programming changes, in-home services, and so on. So this is August 17th. We'll give you an update, but it is next week on
And I think
Thursday.
the interesting thing, having seen this presentation from Chuck at
Yeah.
VMS, is so much of it is things that residents don't see.
That is
They're
correct.
behind the scenes, and they don't know all the wonderful improvements that have been done in this last year. And I think we need to show them that we've not just been sitting around twiddling our thumbs,
Right.
that a lot has been done, and he will be going over all of those things. It soon will benefit the residents on the
right.
front end, but there's just so much that had to be done on the back end before any of those things could be done. So.
Yeah, that is for sure. That's the way it goes with tech, right?
Right.
A lot of the stuff you don't see what's happening until it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Very good. Well, again.
One more thing.
Oh,
Ian?
sure.
We had our budget meeting yesterday.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm looking down at your
Yeah.
papers right now.
We had our budget meeting yesterday, and it was version 2. There are still some changes that are being made, and this will be finalized at our September meeting. But I just wanted to let residents know that it looks now like we're going to have a $10 per manor per month increase in assessments. $6 of that is United, and $4 of that is GRF. And there's so many different things going on, so many increases in prices and things going up and whatever. Infrastructure that hasn't been touched in years that we really need to take care of. All of these kinds of things that we're doing as economically as possible, but basically it just means we haven't had an increase in 3 years.
Right.
And it's time
Right.
to
So
take
we
care of
need to
these
do
things.
that.
So
That's right.
we're, like I said, we're right now looking at about a $10 per manor per month increase.
Which isn't bad at all.
Yeah, and it's really going to help to do these things that everybody asks for.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Very good.
Okay.
And again, that's the September meeting that they finalized that.
Right,
So you still have time to make your comments, right?
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Thank you.
You take care.
Okay.
I know it's been a busy week, so you got the weekend coming up.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
All right, we will be back in just a moment. The